Good morning, family. It's your girl Ty, and I'm back with another video. I literally, y'all, just woke up. I haven't even been up that long. As you can see, I'm still in the bed with my eyes tied up and everything. But when I was sleeping, my spirit was riding my back because I instantly wanted to get on here and talk about this message. So my message today is about knowing your worth as a woman. I want to talk about in two situations. I want to talk about knowing your worth, and I want to talk about knowing your worth when you're single. And next, I want to talk to the women who are in a relationship, because a lot of times, people think that just the women who are not in a relationship haven't learned their worth yet. But sometimes you can be in a relationship with someone and haven't yet found your worth, and you're basing your worth off how your significant other values you. So I want to start off, like I said, with talking to my single women. Why is it so important for you to know your worth when you're single? Number one reason is for yourself. I think it's important for any woman, every single woman in this world, to know their worth, especially before you start getting into relationships. Because a lot of times us women, and before I go too deep into the conversation, y'all, I want to let it be known that I am qualified to speak on this because I have been in the situation with both. I have been single and didn't know my worth. I have been in a long-term relationship with someone, and I realized that I didn't know my worth after about maybe 7 to 6 years in. So I just want to get it off my chest, because I feel like a lot of times people speak on stuff and sometimes you're not qualified to speak on it. Because me personally, I feel like if you haven't experienced it, if you haven't been through it, if you don't know how I feel firsthand, or, just walk through the trenches in the valley by yourself, you can't come to me and tell me or give me any advice on something where you never even been there. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Why it's important to know your worth when you're single is because, for one, let's be real, who wants to be single? I know some people out here like, I want to be single, but deep inside, everybody wants somebody to love them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just a part of life, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, like I said, when you're single, I'm pretty sure every person that's single, one day they want to meet someone and, become a couple so that they don't have to be single anymore. And when you're single and you trying to look for that significant other, when you don't have confidence in yourself and value your self-worth, I want you to remember, think about it as you're walking around with a whiteboard, and every time you show up to a man or a woman, if you're gay, because I don't discriminate. So, like I said, every time you show up into this world to the opposite sex of what you want or the same sex of what you want, that whiteboard is showing up to the world. So when you walking up to somebody and you trying to interact and mingle and get to know someone, they can see your insecurity, and they can see that you don't value yourself. And I know a lot of us what is she talking about? We think sometimes it doesn't show up because we think that, oh, well, this is how I feel deep inside, but no one don't know this. And sometimes it's so sad because sometimes us as women, we don't even know that we don't have it. Sometimes we think that we have all this self-worth and this confidence, and the universe sometimes will make situations arise in your life to show you that you don't really have it. And you can either ignore it and make it seem like you're in total control and you know what you're doing, and the universe going to keep sending you one until it get real loud. Or you can either take heed into what the universe is saying to you. and realize that if I'm not valuing myself as a woman 100%, then what makes me think that this other person is going to value me? And if you're willing, if you want to go into a relationship with someone, the first thing that you should consider is being treated the right way. And if a person can see that you don't even treat yourself the right way, and you don't even value yourself, your time, your space, just having that self-love for yourself and having values and having standards, because some women don't even have that. A man can meet them the same day and the next day they can be took over everything. They living in your house, they driving your car, they dropping your kids out to school, they dropping you off to work. They got access to everything, and you just met this man. And then you say, oh, well, what that have to do with self-value? And that don't mean I don't value myself and all this stuff. And I hate to be the one to tell you, honey, but in a way it does. Because that nigga wasn't there when you had to bust your ass to get that car, to get that home. When it's time for you to take care of your kids and put shoes and clothes on their back, he wasn't there for that either. So why the fuck is he dropping you off in your shit and he got access to everything when you had to work, get off your ass, and you still is every single day now to make sure that you have and provide it for your kids? So why would you give someone access to come into your life and just take over like that? The only person I'm giving that much access to that fast is God, first of all. Because one thing about it, two things for sure, I know my worth and I know my value. And I know how hard I work to get myself in the position that I'm at right now. Not just for myself, but for my kids. And for the women out there who have girls, honey, remember, you are always being a role model to your girls. They are always looking up to you. You should always want to be that role. And I hate the ones that be like, oh, don't do what I do, be better than me. Won't you be better than yourself? Won't you start out first by being the example and being better? Because it's no reason why your kids shouldn't follow after you. And if they shouldn't, that means you ain't doing the right thing. So if you know you not, then don't you think you need to make some changes? Don't you think you need to rearrange the things that you value? So I really had to get that off my chest. And then for the ones who have who have sons, honey, you ain't sliding either. You ain't skating either. You still a role model too. What you gonna teach your little boy that, oh, this how you treat a woman? You just come in and take over, and not to mention the women who let the mans come in and walk through the door, your kids in the living room, they ain't even speak. That is their home. So he don't even value your kids enough to speak to them, and you still laying up with this man? Where they do that at? On the south side, in the hood, and people think it's okay because we grew up seeing it. Shit, your mama let niggas in, they ain't speak to you, so hey, long as he leave these $100 on the dresser and make sure when I call him, I get what I want. Baby, you call on God, God will give you more than what that nigga will give you. When you step into self-value and self-worth and you understand who you are, and you understand that you are like you are the womb. You are the womb to this earth. You bring life. We bring life. We birth. Every woman and every man walking this earth right now, they had to birth through our wombs. Do you know how valuable you are? Don't let, just because you're single, and I don't care how old you are, because I know a lot of times we think, well, I'm getting older, and then especially when you have kids, you feel like, well, what man gonna want me? I'm in my 30s, I'm in my 40s, I got about 3 kids, and so you start to bend your value And you start to bend your standards. Because now you thinking, well, like I just said, shit different now. I'm older. I got kids, a man. It's going to be harder for me to find a man now. But baby, let me tell you something. When you put God in your life, everything that you think going to be hard, God will make that shit easy. When you start valuing yourself and just doing what you have to do to be a better woman for you and your kids, when you put rules down and standards and tell a nigga you can't just come here and just take over like that, you have to put in the work like I did. And we have to build that shit. You understand what I'm saying? We meet these men and we just give them all this trust and all this access to our lives and to the things that we have worked so hard for. The man get your car, wreck your car. Now you don't got no car to get back and forth from work to take care of you and your kids. But before you met this man, you was good. Sometimes these niggas could be your downfall, especially when and it happens when you don't know your worth. Because like I said, y'all, they see that shit. We a lot of times we try to hide it because we don't want to believe it ourselves. Especially the ones who look beautiful on the outside and feel like, oh, they can get anything they want. And stop living by the flesh. Understand that the spiritual world is real. And the only way that you can get tapped in to that self-worth and that self-value, you have to tap into yourself. And that starts with spirit, with God. That's the spiritual world. You don't need no man to define and make you feel like you're beautiful, or stop looking around at other people and wishing that, thinking that, oh, their relationship, like sometimes their relationship ain't even what it seems. Sometimes you don't even know that you think you sitting over here struggling with your 3 kids and you single and you want somebody so bad, and you looking at your friend, I'm just gonna make up a name. You looking at your friend Kate Life, and Kate lit. She got a little family. She got her husband. They've been together for the last 15, 20 years or so. And you like, dang, I wish I had, a husband like that to help me. Or, I wish me and my baby daddy would have still worked out because I want to have that too. Stop doing that, y'all. You looking at Kate Life, but you don't even know what happened behind closed doors in Kate Life. You don't know what Kate been through for these last 10, 15, 20 years. Kate could have been crying half of them years going to sleep at night, not knowing where her man was at. And maybe Kate man didn't cheat on her. Maybe he was though. But maybe Kate been pulling the weight. And this nigga ain't really been providing. And maybe this whole time you been looking at Kate Life and you may be doing better than Kate and her husband. Because you took the time to just focus on yourself and your own journey and your own kids. Don't always be looking at people's life and thinking that it looks great, because you don't know until you walk in that person's shoes. You don't know. People don't tell you everything. People only going to tell you what they want you to know. Understand that. And please understand that a lot of people go through a lot of shit and they make it and they project to you and to the world that, oh, their life is great. Their relationship is great. But behind closed doors, they're miserable as hell. Miserable. Don't even want to be with the person they with no more. But they just playing this role because they want the world to think that they live in this certain life, just like Facebook. Like, this should be an illusion. Like, people, if y'all don't take nothing else from this message about people and analyzing other people's lives and thinking it's great, know that they will only show you what they want you to see, honey. Know that and trust that. So, understand that, like I said, when you don't know your worth and you don't know your value and you don't set standards, remember, you walking around with a whiteboard on your head and everything that I just said is on that board. So those men's and those women's out there who run into you and meet you, the minute you start talking, how you talk, how you carry yourself, what kind of, like, a man can pick up so much information about you from just that. And remember, that whiteboard is telling them who you are. Because believe it or not, when you don't have self-love and value yourself and have that, you know, just that respect for yourself as a woman, that shit shows like an elephant in the room. And men's and women's, for the ones who are gay, like I said, they are used to dealing with us, so they know, you know what I'm saying, we're not the first insecure woman they ran into. So when they see one, they know what to expect for the next one. If you catch my drift, just like when we dealing with people and we dealing with a buster, like, you know the signs of a buster, so you know next time you meet one, I already remember that. I ain't doing that no more. So just think about it, when they having no self-respect for yourself and not having values and all that extra shit that I was talking about, y'all, you are target. We can be targeted sometimes, because when a man see that you don't have that, but you got all this, you got a home, you got a car, you got a refrigerator full of food, shit, you working all day, shit, you finna come home and give them good sex and all that, and all they gotta do is just beat her. They ain't even gotta give a dollar. And then on top of that, they at home eating all your kids' food too. Baby, don't be one of those. Don't be one of them, y'all. I've been there before. And honey, don't do it. Don't fucking do it. It's not worth it. You are better off by your motherfucking self. A man do not define who you are. When you start to understand that and get self-respect for yourself and value yourself and tell a man, listen, what you're not going to do is you're not going to come here and you're not going to just lamp up in my shit and just take everything that I have worked hard for and just take it like it's as if I worked hard for it for you. If I had to work hard to get where I'm at now, a man should be able to bring the same thing to the table. Period. And if a man know that you bringing all this to the table and he don't have nothing to bring and you still willing to let him come to your table, who the fuck ain't gonna come? I'll wait. When you put food on the table outside for everybody, like, how long you think it's gonna be spared? When it's for everybody, like, somebody gonna come get it. Trust and believe that. So, like I said before, like, know your value, know your worth. Remember, you are a queen. Your womb, we are the wombs of the earth. We are valuable. So don't let no man come into your life and make you feel like they're adding value to you. Value yourself 100%. Get to know your worth. Because if you don't know it, somebody else gonna come in and they gonna tell you what you worth. And that's what you don't want. No, that's what you don't want to happen. Don't let nobody else define how much you're worth. You should know how much you're worth. You should know your worth. And if you don't know your worth yet, as a single woman, you do not need to be looking for nobody to be in a relationship with, for one. Don't let no man define who you are. Don't let no woman define who you are. You know who you are. So nextly, to my women who are in the relationships, y'all. So how I discovered that I didn't know my worth while I was in a relationship is when I realized that for so many years, the person who I was in a relationship with, I was so worried about their happiness that I was more concerned about his happiness than I was concerned about mine. And when I first met him, I didn't value myself as a woman, and I didn't have no self-respect for myself. And honestly, y'all, I wasn't even looking for a relationship at all. I was just kind of like, I was like I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just date, and I'm gonna just, have fun. Like, I don't want nothing serious, because I had just got out of a very abusive relationship. And this gonna be another video, but just to let y'all know, that relationship I was just talking about, that very abusive relationship. Side note, he was the an older guy, and that was the first time I dated an older guy. And I dated him because I was thinking, well, I'm gonna try something different, because it seemed like I date younger guys, and I just felt like they wasn't really no. Like, I was just like, maybe I should date somebody older a lot, because I always felt like I was more mature than the guys my age. So like I just said, side note, this for another video, but when I tell y'all, that was the worst relationship that I ever been in my life. Like, a lot of times you'll think that since you're dating a guy that's older, that they'll may know how to treat you better and all this stuff. But y'all, like I said, I'm gonna talk about this in another video, but don't think that that's not always, it's not true. It's not. As a matter of fact, he was the most immature guy that I ever dated in my whole life. So just a side note for that. But anyway, so like I said, I had just got a relationship with somebody. It was a very toxic relationship, very abusive relationship, like worst relationship I ever had. So like I said, I wasn't really trying to get into a relationship then. I was just trying to have fun and just, when I wasn't trying to get nothing too serious. But I did. I met this guy, and we just clicked, like, and I still, like, even though we clicked, I still went, like, in my head, I was still thinking, like, okay, I'm not gonna get nothing serious, though, because I told myself that I wasn't. I just want to enjoy, being single, because I always felt like I have always been in a relationship my whole life. So one thing led to another. We started kicking it, and he ended up telling me he loved me one day, and I was like, what? Because I wasn't expecting it. Like, I liked him a lot, and then on top of that, like, I guess I was always used to being the one that would say I love you first, I guess. I don't know, but it just caught me off guard, y'all, because he was just so, like, different from what I was used to dealing with. And I don't know, he just caught me off guard, like, but I told him I loved him too. And like I said, one thing led to another. We started kicking it more and more and more. Eventually, like, I was head over heels in love with this man, to the point where I was coming at him like, okay, what's up? Like, we finna be together? Like, what is it? Like, and this was the first time in my life, y'all, that I, first of all, asked somebody out. Because I'm thinking, like, most of the time when I talk to somebody, they end up asking me, like, you want to be my lady? But he didn't ask me. So I asked him. And this nigga told me he wasn't ready yet. So I'm like, what? So from the beginning, it's kind of seemed like we kind of both fell in love with each other, but I felt like I kind of, like, was chasing him. That's how I felt, because I felt like, well, I'm ready, and you're saying you're not ready. And as a woman that I am now today, I have too much, like, I value myself too much for me to tell a man, like, okay, what's up? I've been kicking it with you. I want to be with you. And the man to come back and tell me, oh, I ain't ready yet. Because you know what I would have did? Now, the Taisha now, I would have been like, oh, deuces, like, chuck the deuces, like, straight the fuck up. Who's waiting? Do you know who I am? The fuck? I'm the prize. You're the prize. Hello. So, anyway, I waited. I was young. So I'm like, okay, so I'm still kicking it with this man. I mean, at this time, he don't got the key to my house, but shit, he damn near over there whenever he want to. He calling me. He's staying out of my house. At the time, I don't think I had a car. I didn't, because my license was suspended, so he didn't have my car. But if I had a car, he probably would have had that too, knowing my dumb ass. It's so nice to look back on yourself and laugh at yourself, though, because you live and you learn, y'all. And that's why I'm making this video, because I know that it's somebody out here who going through what I went through right now. And you might hear my video and be like, damn, some shit she's saying is kind of like making sense to me a little bit. And it may be something that may be like, you know what, they doing it right now. They feel like everything I'm saying is bullshit, because they don't want to believe it, because they still haven't got to that point where they want to value their self. But hey, for each his own. If you want to be a fool, then be a fool. I'm not here to force no one to do nothing. Just like God. God is not going to force you to do nothing. God just going to send the answers. Just like God sent me to do this video. He going to put it out there, the information, but it's up to you to receive it. Honey, this is only getting received from whoever want to receive it. So anyway, like I said, I stayed around, and later on down the road, I ended up finding out most stuff that he had going on that I didn't know, like having a baby on the way. But by the time I found out, I was already like heads over heels in love with this man, so I still stayed around. And not to mention, I'm still not in a relationship with this man either, y'all. And I'm still having sex with this man too. The man that not ready to be in a relationship, right? But yet, he's willing to still have sex with me. Hint, hint. For my single women, be careful of that too. Because that shit ain't right. So anyway, long story short, we eventually end up getting in a relationship because I threatened to leave him because I found out that he was talking to someone else. And that's one thing that I always kind of like, I think I hadn't been through so much of that shit in the past. It's like, bitch, I ain't even got no more energy to even allow that kind of shit to be in my energy force. Like, it's you can play with me with some things, but it's something I'm just not having it at all. Like, I can work with some things, but some things I ain't gonna work with. And what I ain't gonna work with is coming second to nobody. Nobody. If you gonna fuck with me, you gonna fuck with me. And if you can't just fuck with me and value all this that I have to give, if this not enough for you, baby, then I ain't gonna be enough for you at all, because I'm not coming second to no one, and neither should you. But anyway, so I found out about a situation that he had going on, so I instantly like, oh, time to cut ties. And at the time, y'all, I had got knocked up by him, so now I got a baby on the way with a man who I'm still not in a relationship with. And not to mention, when I met him, he had come to find out he had a baby on the way. So now the girl who he had just had a baby from, her baby here now, and I'm pregnant with a new baby, and I just found out he's talking to a whole nother chick. And y'all, I still stayed. Still didn't value myself. Still didn't have that much respect for myself to say, you know what, I'm not going to be in this situation. I'm about to check out right now and let him just be a father to his kids and we can co-parent. But me still loving a man more than I love myself. Because how can you because I just can't wrap my head around how did I allow myself to be hurt. I was so hurt. Like, I was so heartbroken. And I was thinking that if I just keep expressing it to him how I feel, that he'll understand it and he'll, stop what he's doing, because he wouldn't want to hurt me like that. I guess I thought that. And now when I look back on it, I realize that what I just said about that board, y'all, I didn't even realize that I had the board right on my motherfucking head. He was only doing what I allowed him to do. Every time that from day one, when I told him I want to be with you and he told me no, I was okay with that. So the whole time from the beginning, when we weren't really even in a relationship, to the minute that we got in a serious relationship, after the fact that it was almost like it was forced off of some negative energy shit, because now all of a sudden you want to be with me because I don't want to fuck with you no more because I know you fucking with somebody else. So I misvalued myself with that situation too. Because what I should have did was just walked away from the whole situation, because I know that if I value myself like I did now, I wouldn't even allow myself to put up with that nonsense that I did back then. And when somebody bring nonsense to you, to your home, and you don't put your feet down and let them know, nah, we ain't doing that. They get, hold on, Tamoris, I'm making a video right now, baby. Give me a couple seconds. I'm almost finished, okay? So, a lot of times, he made me forget what I was saying, y'all. My son just walked in the room. Hey, what I was saying. In a relationship, and a lot of times, oh yeah, when you learn how to put your feet down and tell the person from the minute you start to see the fuckery, let them know, like, listen. And you don't have to do it rude. You can literally say, hey, Tyrone, let me talk to you for a minute. And he'd be like, oh, it ain't a good time. Okay, fine. We can make a time, plan a time, because that's what I did. I picked a date, a time, we met up. And when we sat down, I was very calm, very, very calm. And I was like, you know, like, I just want to have a conversation with you about this situation. And I just let him know, you know, we are both grown. I love you to death, because I did. I loved him 2 pieces. Obviously, I did. I put up with all that shit. And, you know, I just let him know, and I know you love me too. And I love you enough to have this conversation with you, because I have been in a situation before where I have been with someone, and instead of us talking about the elephant in the room, we just kept acting like it wasn't there. And when you do that, that love that you have for others, it started to turn into hate. And I didn't want it to grow to that, because at the end of the day, we still had a child together. So I had a conversation with him, and I let him know, you know, listen, I just feel like it'd be better if we co-parent. I love you, and I want to continue to have that love and energy with you. So I think it's best if we separate now, because I don't feel like you give me the respect that I deserve. And I don't want to disvalue myself no more for no man, because I have been through that in my past, and I choose not to allow myself to keep going through the same heartache. And y'all, when I told that man that, I remember the look on his face, and he just stared at me as if he was confused as hell and lost. And he told me that he never in his life had a woman sit down and talk to me like that. Like, as if, like, one thing about it, y'all, when you in a relationship with somebody, you know when a nigga fucking off. You know it. You have that woman intuition. We always know. And sometimes we choose to ignore that. And when you choose to ignore that, you are not valuing yourself. You are worth way more than that. You don't have to be living in an illusion. First of all, we're living in an illusion already. Don't force yourself to be in a double illusion when you don't have to be. If we gonna be living in an illusion, make that motherfucker the best illusion ever. Why would you live in an illusion and trap yourself in an extra delusion? Like, you know, you get what I'm saying, y'all? I hope y'all get what I'm saying, because it's like, we don't have no choice to be in this illusion as world, but you do have a choice to be in an illusion as relationship while you in this illusion as world. And if you choose to be in 2 illusions when you can only be in one and have peace in that one, I don't get it. I don't. And the only thing I can come up with is you don't value yourself, dog. And I know that's what it is, because I've been there before. So please understand that this video is not made for me to talk down on any woman or a woman that's going through what I went through. Like, I'm doing this because I hope that this video gets you while you in that situation, because I want to be the person that tell you today that you are worth way more than what you have been settling for. And like I said, they're all like, I have been in both situations when I didn't value myself when I was single, and I'm messing with men who I know don't value me either. They're only doing what I'm allowing them to do. If you let them, a man gonna do what you allow him to do, period. And that's on anything. That's just on top, period. So, like I said, y'all, it don't matter if you're single or in a relationship, you can still lack value. And for my women who are in a relationship and starting to realize, you know what, I do feel like sometimes, sometimes when he talk to you and he say certain things and how his tone and how he said, and when he bring up things from your past and throw things in your face, bro, you don't have to put up with that shit. You're not valuing yourself. What kind of relationship is that? What you want a relationship just say you're in a relationship? Because if you ain't getting treated, if you don't feel like this man is valuing you and treating you the right way at every, I'm so sorry, y'all, my fans just dropped. It scared me too a little bit. But if this man is not valuing you, I get tripped up on my words sometimes, y'all, because I talk really fast. And when I was a kid, I used to have to take speech classes because I didn't have the best grammar. And Anyway, that's a whole nother video. I'm getting sidetracked again, but just know, y'all, you can lack self-value in a relationship. So just because you're in a relationship, don't just be like, well, I got my shit together, I know my man treat me good. Sit down sometimes and well, you know, you ain't no sit down. I ain't gonna say to sit down and analyze. You know when you're not getting treated the right way. You don't have to analyze. You already think about it right now. I'm watching this video. Like, damn, I do notice this, but he a good man though overall. So I don't really be tripping. So what the fuck are you? You not a good woman overall? Do you have, like, I know everybody have flaws, but don't allow yourself to continue to don't allow yourself to accept other people's flaws to the point where you start disregarding your worth. If you get what I'm saying. Like, you can have balance and respect your significant other when you're in a relationship. However, understand that the most important thing is you making sure that you keep your value and your self-respect in line and in check, because the minute you start to deflate from that, they're gonna see that. And like I just said, and like I keep saying, a man will only do what you allow him to do. So remember that, and always remember to value yourself, know your worth, know that you are the prize, and don't let no man fool you or trick you to think that you have to belittle yourself to make his ego feel bigger. Because at the end of the day, it's about you. And if you can't bring happiness to yourself, if you can't even do that for yourself, then don't expect a man to do it for you. Don't take no man crumbs when you are the whole loaf. You don't need nobody crumbs. When you get your shit together and you understand who you are in this world, you don't need that validation from no man. So understand that we are queens and we bring life into this world. So know who you are and what you stand for, and always have standards. And when the first day you meet a man, that first conversation, lay down them standards. Let them know you ain't playing. Let them know you are not one of them. Because you best believe, while you're talking, while you're moving, he's observing you. And he's trying to figure out what category to put you in. Don't let them keep putting you in categories. Put yourself in the category that you know you belong, and let it be known from day one. Set the standards before you go into any situation. Let them know who you are and what you stand for, and that you value yourself. And if they're not willing to value you as much as you value yourself, it ain't gonna work. So I love you guys so freaking much, and I know that this video was definitely sent from God, because like I said, I literally just woke up and this is the longest video I ever made, and it's really making me think about my past situations too. It's like, damn, Ty, like, y'all, no, don't be embarrassed, don't be ashamed. Y'all are not alone, and I've been there, done that, and that's why I'm sharing it with y'all, so we can stay bossed up, and no matter what happens, we know our value. So what's the worst that can happen? If God is for me, then who can be against me, right? So anyway, I love you guys. I hope you have a blessed and wonderful day, and until next time, bye guys.